Good morning, this is John Hauser from my YouTube channel, Free Advice from 76 Years and the Grumpy Old Toad. In one of my other videos, I told the story of the Grumpy Old Toad, how that name came about. But I'm here today, this morning, March the 19th, 2026, to talk about how I plan on improving my YouTube channel. I just started January 1 of this year. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I really am enjoying this new adventure. And of course, I have some notes, and I highly recommend notes. Okay, so in my notes, I was wondering, how does a person come up with ideas for a YouTube channel? How do you come up with ideas for a YouTube channel and what you're going to talk about? Because once you get the channel up, once you've established it, once you're ready to start posting videos, you need something to talk about. That has never been an issue with me. I can generally find something to talk about. But I want to tell you a technique that I'm currently using that has been very helpful. And that is, I'll show you this, but try not to read it. For many years, I have been writing out what I call morning pages. And I call them morning pages because I generally do it in the morning. When I was working, I had a very heavy schedule, and I joined what was known as the 30-minute club. The 30-minute club. And I would actually get up 30 minutes earlier just to make sure that I had time to sit down and write my 3 pages before I went to work. And this helped me to get all of the stress and mental stuff out of my head, get it on the paper. Also, the things that I had been thinking about through the night, because I'm an avid thinker, I could put on paper. So I sat down this morning and I did my pages and I did my notes, and I've come up with some ideas that I want to share with you on how to build a YouTube channel. Now, as I've said in the past on each one of my videos, and I'm going to continue to say it, is that I personally am a Bible-believing Christian. And that's who I am. I became a Christian in 1974. That's 52 years ago. At the time, it was early in 1974, so I was actually 23 and a half years old at that time. And I was in the military, and I became a Christian in 1974, and I have been a Christian since then. I don't claim to be a good Christian, and I don't claim that I've led a perfect life. I've made so many huge mistakes. I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes. But I say that to let you know who I am and what I believe. And so one of the books that I have read over the years that's been extremely helpful to me is this one right here. It didn't look like this when I bought it. I bought this in 1974. And I've had that for 52 years, and I have several others. And I'm talking about reading the Bible. Reading the Bible on a regular basis will challenge you mentally, because building a YouTube channel is actually a mental exercise, and that's one of the reasons that I like it, because it does help to expand your mind, and it does help you to think. And that's one of the reasons I'm enjoying it so much, because I like to think, I like to learn new things, I like new experiences, I like to go new places. And this YouTube channel has been very, very thought-provoking. So again, one of the things that I do, and I do it by hand, I don't sit at a computer and type. I sit down with a pen and paper at least 5 days a week, and I write out all of the things that I'm currently thinking about. And as I'm writing, I'm looking for ideas that I can use on YouTube. In the past, I would do the same thing, but I would use those ideas in my business practices. So that's why I write these pages out. And you may want to consider doing the same thing. You may just want to sit down, pen and paper, if you're doing a YouTube channel. And you can also use this in any aspect of your life. You can sit down and simply write out all of the things that you've been thinking about, that you're concerned about, and do that on a daily basis. It will help you think. Now, let me kind of give you an idea of what this can do for you. This is an illustration. About 2 years ago, my wife and I went down to Beaufort, North Carolina, and we went parasailing. I'd never done it before. My oldest daughter and son-in-law had been parasailing. I thought I would like to give it a try. So I talked my wife into it. She didn't enjoy it as much as I did, but the way it works is they take you out into the bay there, almost to the ocean, and you're in this big speedboat, and you sit down, and what they do is they put a parachute harness on you. And my wife and I were sitting side by side. They put these parachute harnesses on you, and then the boat begins to move, and they have the parachute goes up. And as the parachute goes up, since you're attached to the parachute, you go up. And they let out roughly 500 feet of line, more or less. You end up being about 500 feet away from the boat. Now, one thing I discovered in that experience is you get a completely different perspective on life when you're parasailing, because you're up there 500 feet, and all of a sudden the boat that you were on is way down there, and it looks small. And of course, now my wife didn't enjoy the parasailing so much, but the parasailing did help me to think a little differently for a little while. And if you haven't ever been parasailing, you ought to try it. That's actually better than jumping out of an airplane with a parachute. This way you have a rope attached to you and you go up. But while I was up there, it just gave me a different perspective. You could see the boat, you could see the city of Beaufort, you could see all the islands where the horses were at. It just gave me a nice overview perspective of what was down there. And if you're building a YouTube channel, thinking is extremely important to do this. This is not hard. It just requires you to think. Now, I'm going to share something else with you that's been a great help to me. I have this on CD. You can find it on YouTube. And years ago, I actually had this on cassette tape. I had this on cassette tape years ago. This is something that if you're building a YouTube channel, you may want to consider finding this and listening to it. You'll find it on YouTube. It's by Earl Nightingale. It's called, I'll put it right there where you can see it. It's called The Strangest Secret. And it's all about how you think. You can find this. It's on YouTube. All you have to do is type in Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret, and it comes up. I just happen to have a CD. That way I can listen to it while I'm in my car. And yes, my car has a CD player, which is a real advantage as compared to new and modern cars. So this, building a YouTube channel, is an adventure. And if you want to try it, I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend it. I think more people should do it, especially when you're getting into this age where I'm at. You know, my wife and I are 75 and a half. I still have a lot of mental energy, and I wanted to do something creative. And being creative is extremely important. I would like to recommend a book to you. I'm not sure where you can find it. I'm not even sure if it's out of print or not. I got this book many, many years ago, and the name of the book is The Artist Way. And this is 3 volumes in one by Julia Cameron. And she talks about the power of using these morning pages and how they can help you organize your thoughts. Let me give you an example. Ever get up in the morning and you're disorganized and you just can't seem to decide what to do first? You may not have that problem. I have this busy mind thing. I have that problem. And I have discovered that by sitting down and writing in the morning, 3 pages, that it helps me to get my thoughts organized. gets your thoughts organized, things get a little bit better. Here's another great book that I read. This is not the first copy that I had, but I actually read this book probably back maybe in the late 70s or the early 80s. I read this book. It's very helpful. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, I'm not selling books. You can find all these books on Amazon or a used bookstore. I've found a lot of great books at the thrift store. I like to buy books for $1 or $2 or $3, you know. But these are some great books that you might want to consider reading. Now, Old Mike on his channel, which I'm really enjoying his channel, he recommends this book, Talk Like TED. And this is really good. It's about TED Talks. And this book really talks to you about how to improve what you're doing, how to improve your thinking. And what I'd like to say is that if you will improve your thinking, your life will improve, and you'll also improve your YouTube channel. Let me look down here at my notes for just a minute and see if I'm forgetting something. I've got a lot more than I want to say, but I don't know if I need to say all of this in one video. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this for just a second because I think this is very important. I wrote out a lot of notes this morning. Mental activity for seniors is highly important. Early in my sales career, I worked for a particular company that required us to know a lot about the product we were selling. And we had to have the numbers memorized. This is back before the days of all these little pocket calculators and things. If we were talking to a customer and a customer said they wanted to put carpet in a 12 by 9 room, we had to know off the top of our heads how many square yards of carpet that would be. Carpet, you know, red carpet, blue carpet, beige carpet. Almost everywhere you go now, people are buying beige carpet. But back in those days, people would do each room in the house in a different color. The boys' room would be blue and the girls' room would be pink. But you had to know this stuff off the top of your head. If a customer came in with a floor plan and laid the floor plan down, you had to know how to use a 1/4-inch scale, and you had to know how to calculate the math with a scale and a pencil. And you had to know that if you needed 75 yards, or 75 feet rather, 75 running feet of carpet, you needed to know that that was 100 square yards. Actually, we had it memorized from 1/3 of a square yard all the way up to 100 square yards. We had to know what the footage and the square yardage. So we had to know all of that stuff. It kept your mind very sharp. And to this day, if I think about it, I can run some of those numbers. But I have noticed that some of that sharpness has gone away a little bit because I'm not using that system, but I'm using some other systems. It's very, very important as seniors that we do things that will help keep our mind sharp. Now, one of the things that will keep your mind dull is watching too much television, too much TV. I like to watch TV as much as anybody else, but if you watch too much of it, it is just, your brain gets lazy is what I'm trying to say. So what can we do? Well, we can, as seniors, we can think, we can be creative, we can move forward on a daily basis. Building a YouTube channel will help you to move forward on a daily basis. Let's see here. It's kind of like parasailing. Parasailing will take you up there and you can see things differently. You want to think. You want to think. Building a YouTube channel helps you to use your expertise in the field that you were in to give out particular information. You can put forth your ideas, you can put forth your opinions, and you can put forth your views. Now, some people say you shouldn't take a hard stance on some issues, political or religious, whatever. Well, I do. I do because I believe certain things, and those certain things are going to show up in my videos. Okay, let's see. Many of the books that I have read uh, has to do with thinking and helps you to think clearly. Clear thinking helps you to see the reality in the world and allows you to do proper comparisons. So, here's what I said back when I started this is, yes, I think I will start a YouTube channel and work my way through it, learn how to do it, and get better at it. And old Mike talks about getting better 1% every time you make a video. And that's my goal, is to try and improve. So if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, after you watch this video or any of my other videos, you'll realize it's not that hard. It's a lot of fun. And eventually some really good stuff can come out of it. So this is John Hauser with free advice. The grumpy old toad. I have my grumpy old toad mug around here somewhere saying thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I want to make another one here shortly.